Hey everyone. So it's Big Daddy, and we have another Big Daddy and Friends home edition. We took it out of the studio, and since my new friend is joining us, we figured we'd keep it homely, simple, easy, not complicated. So our next guest really doesn't need an introduction. She's like global, and what I mean by that is because she's World Cup finalist, champion, goal scorer, TV personality. I don't know what else I'm missing, but we're gonna find out. So let's welcome Brandi Chastain. How you doing, Brandi?
I am great. How are you doing today?
Doing good. It's an honor and a privilege to be on with you. Obviously, I know the time changes always makes things a little difficult in regards to scheduling and whatnot. So I appreciate you taking the time to join us and chat and have some fun and laughs.
Well, I'm happy to do this like down on the down low home style because that's how it is. Nice and chill, and let's just have some fun.
Exactly. So what I usually do is I'll start off with a couple questions and then we'll go from there. So
Okay.
uh, I have a nice list accumulated. We're not going to be on for an hour, but we'll
Okay.
keep it nice and simple. So at the 1999 FIFA Women's World Cup final, your game-winning goal and your legendary goal celebration were described by the New York Times as the most iconic photograph ever taken of a female athlete. Describe what that means to you.
Well, it's interesting that you bring up this question in that place in that time because this is the 100th anniversary of the Rose Bowl. So this is a very significant year for that stadium. The historical significance for sports in this country. So many amazing games have been won, and so many incredible announcers have announced really big games in that stadium. So to have women's soccer be a part of that history is really significant. I think that goes to the comment by the New York Times. No one had the luxury of seeing women's sports being displayed on such a big stage before. And so I think there would have been many, many more iconic pictures taken had we been open to women's sports as we are now. And so I feel very fortunate personally. I know that our team, the U.S. Women's National Team, has a tremendous amount of gratitude for the Women's World Cup Committee, U.S. Soccer, FIFA, for allowing dreamers to to wear cleats and run out onto that stadium field and to do what they do best, which was to compete and to show the pride they have for representing USA and themselves and each other.
So let me ask this: the U.S. Under 20 Women's Youth National Team is going to compete in the 2022 FIFA Women's World Cup in Costa Rica. What are you looking forward to? What are you looking forward to most?
Well, what I think is really phenomenal is the fact that we have a U20 World Cup. When I just look at the history where we've been so that we know how to make good, positive, futuristic, proactive decisions. The fact that we never had youth national teams when I was growing up. There was one national team, that was the U.S. Women's National Team. And there was some camps and things. So we're progressing in a really important, valuable way. Those players that are playing there will have a significant advantage of getting to the national team if we do the job right from the coaching and the staffing perspective at U.S. Soccer. We have a very large country, and finding those 24 kids or those 24 players who play well together, who have the same type of mindset, who understand what the singular objective is beyond their personal dreams and aspirations. That's not an easy job. So I'm looking forward to seeing what the future could potentially look like. Sadly for me and my husband and our Santa Clara University women's soccer team, one of our players was playing and in practice, unfortunately, got tackled by a teammate and tore her ACL. So unfortunately, she will miss now the World Cup and her junior season at Santa Clara. But I want to give a shout out to Sally Menti. I know you're going to be back strong, Sally. So, that's all a part of the game. But, we have to just continue to keep pushing forward and to elevate young girls in sports. And that's what this World Cup in Costa Rica is doing.
So what lessons did you learn in college that helped you achieve that helped you reach your highest achievements? Meaning like, Olympic champion, FIFA champion. Tell us about that. What got you from A to Z?
Well, I have to say that my road to success is not really what people probably envision what it looked like. So it didn't start out down here in this young recreational soccer league and then on a straight line meteorically rise to all of a sudden you're a World Cup champion and an Olympic gold medalist. My middle part was very messy. It was up and down and backwards and 2 ACL reconstructions, 2.5 years of sitting out college soccer, being cut from the national team after being a World Cup champion, finding my way back 4 years later. So, for me, I think what I learned also in the process of being in college is I started out at one university. I ended up realizing it wasn't the place for me. And I think there's two very important morals to this story, which is one is change is really important. And yes, it can be uncomfortable and most of us don't like change, but embracing the necessity, the importance and the significance of change is really positive. And so I would encourage everybody out there to, if something's not going right, make change. If something doesn't feel right, make change. If you're not finding what you're looking for, make change. And, I think we all feel that if we don't continue to push through and be determined and persevere in those moments, that will be seen as a failure. But what science says is the only way we grow is by falling down and by making mistakes and by getting up and giving it a go again. So I think number one, it's change. And I think number two is that community, AKA teams, really matter. And having gone to Santa Clara with a Jesuit education about the impact of the person on the greater good, that we can all impart something really important, that we have to see ourselves as global citizens, that we can really, if we bond together with people who are interested in doing good, great can happen. And so those are the two things I learned on my journey that will stay with me forever.
That's great. I mean, that's I believe in that wholeheartedly as well, because you surround yourself with winners, you'll be a winner.
Yeah.
You work at being a winner, you will be a winner. It's the old Lombardi line. Everyone wants to win, but not everyone's willing to work to win.
Yeah. Well, and I'll tell you, Rich, when you get to that highest level, I think there's something that's really interesting and exists everywhere. And as I thought about that, I realized it actually trickles down to every level. Hard work, input, investment in yourself matters. And if you're not willing to do that, then you can't expect the outcome on the other end. And so it's a very critical thing, but it's also a common denominator at the highest level, right? If you think you're going to go to great heights and that you can just cruise, you're mistaken. So it really doesn't matter where you are. Hard work is honestly almost the lowest common denominator. Everybody has to do that.
Yeah, agreed. So where do you believe the state of soccer is today with American audiences?
I wish I had fireworks and blow big bullhorns. And I mean, I have been for decades, I would say 4 decades or more, preaching and pontificating and sharing and loving this great game. And the difference between when I started doing that and today is grossly different. in a positive way. And honestly, I've now heard it, whether that be from my husband at Santa Clara University, who's been coaching women's soccer there for 37 seasons, or Alex Ohanian and Serena Williams, who have just invested in the NWSL and Angel City, them saying women's soccer is at an all-time high. It is most likely the greatest resource that has yet to be truly untapped, and the intellectual property of the players, the personalities, the character, the intelligence is just through the roof. So honestly, to everybody listening, if you are interested in investing in something that will be a sure thing, women and women's soccer is your best bet.
Get a hold of Brandi. She just told you.
Please. Thank you.
So now here's a little fun part. It's called rapid fire.
Okay.
So who's the greatest soccer player of all time?
Leo Messi. Michelle Akers.
Okay. Who are the three athletes that you always looked up to?
George Best, because he was the nearest soccer player to me here at the San Jose Earthquakes back in the 70s. He came from Manchester United and Ireland. And so off the field, he wasn't a great character, but I think on the field, he was somebody who kind of lit the fire of my dream to enjoy soccer. So I would say that. My mom loved tennis, so I would say that was the Chrissy Everett, Martina Navratilova era, and Billie Jean King. So those three ladies really showed me what competition looked like for women. And then my grandfather loved golf, so I got a lot of Jack Nicklaus. And so, those were the three areas that I saw the most that really impacted me when I was younger.
Those are some iconic names you're throwing out there. So it's definitely not a bad group to follow or admire or learn from. So,
and that's not to say like I've been influenced Michael Jordan. I've been very fortunate to meet Michael and play in his golf tournament. I won his golf tournament with John Smoltz. I beat Michael 1-1 in poker in his poker tournament. So that's probably one of my biggest claims to fame. I will always have that on Michael Jordan. So, but as a competitor goes, obviously he is second to none. Somebody like a Derek Jeter who just went to work every day to be the best version of himself on the field. Like, we talk about him, about getting the details right a lot in soccer. And so I think there's a lot of people like Michelle Akers, who nobody was watching, but was always doing the right thing.
So here's a good one. After soccer, what's your next favorite sport and what are your favorite teams?
Well, of course, I'm a Bay Area native, so I love all the Bay Area teams. I grew up watching the 49ers, and I've since become great friends with quite a few of them who are just spectacular people beyond being incredibly former football players in Ronnie Lott and Steve Young, Harris Barton, to name just a few. I love those guys because they are such incredible community servants, and they understand their ability to impact the greater good. So I'm just big fans of them. The Giants, of course, the San Francisco Giants. But, to be honest with you, the most important team has yet to be named, and that's going to be the next women's team put into the NWSL, which will be our Bay Area women's soccer team. And we haven't named us yet. We are looking for, we're still looking for our number one investor who wants to lead the way, and we want it to be a female. We want that person to show as an example that what leadership can and does look like. So we're very excited about that.
Well, that's good to hear. Obviously, as you can tell by my hat that I'm wearing, I am a big advocate of women empowerment. I happen to be an ambassador for the Share Women's Empowerment Group, and I salute whatever woman steps up to the plate and accepts that role and takes it on. And I think the way the world has changed now is that people are seeing that women can be leaders, women can be owners, they can be presidents, they could be. I'm not saying president of our country. Maybe that happens sooner or later. Who knows? That's another story for another day. But women can lead the way, and I say good luck to you with that. And I'm sure whoever that person is, whoever that woman is, I'm sure it's going to be one hell of a leader and someone that's focused. And they're going to make a statement because they'll be the first one that takes that step. And that's the way I would sell that to everyone who you would think, who you're looking at to be that person.
Well, I think the fallacy in in women in ownership and leadership is they have actually existed. It's kind of like thinking back to 1999. Women's soccer players existed before then, and they were playing everywhere. They just didn't have the platform. They didn't have the attention. And so what we want to do is elevate that awareness. And we have multiple female owners in the NWSL. So we are a wonderful lightning rod and the gold standard for what that can look like in sports and will look like going forward. I'm very proud of what I think the former U.S. women's national teams previous have done and what the present day teams are doing, because we understand that the pathway hasn't been built yet, and we're building it as we're going along. And so we have the opportunity to make it look like whatever it is we want it to be. And I think that kind of ownership is truly empowering beyond stepping into something that has already existed. And so it's a great responsibility, and we are so significantly interested in impacting it in the best way possible.
So ready?
Yeah.
First FIFA win or first Olympian win? Which one was more exciting?
Well, of course, the World Cup is, for a soccer player, is a dream. That's a standalone soccer event. The first one was fairly anonymous, so it's really, it's a little bit different than what the first Olympic Games for soccer looked like. Being a part of any first, Rich, is phenomenal. Like nobody will ever take that away from you. No one can diminish the fact that that's a historical moment. Everybody can look at that and say, what is happening today this is a derivative of then. And so I think the way both of those teams and both of those tournaments were cared for and really embraced and showcased, I honestly, it gives me chills just thinking about how important and phenomenal both of those were.
Wow, good answer. And
Thank you.
I love the answer. So now, real quick, what do you have going on now? Tell us a little bit about some of. I'm sure you've got you're like me. You've got like 100 things going on, and we probably need like 5 hours to get every view across. But give us the one thing that we need to help spread the word. One thing we need to let people know about.
Well, I wish I had one thing, but again, we've already talked about the NWSL team coming here to the Bay Area. We're on the precipice of an expansion vote, and we are significantly invested in bringing a team back to the Bay Area. We're the natural bridge between the Northwest in Portland and Seattle and the South in San Diego and Los Angeles. And soccer historically and traditionally has always excelled here in the Bay Area. We bring great big crowds, sellout crowds for the women's national team. We host and have women's collegiate teams that have been national champions over the last 5 years. Proudly, I'm going to say Santa Clara University is one of those teams. We understand that a significant percentage of national team players come from here. And so we have 4 of them that are 3 others that are joining me on this team in the Bay. So that's number 1. So we want to bring that here. Number 2 is I'm working with and investing in a new pillow company, because what's significant about us is that we want to change the dynamic around sleep and the perception of what sleep will give you for your next best day. We are Mummy Sleep, mvmisleep.com. Please check it out, everybody. If you are suffering in the sleep department like me, I've never until now been a great sleeper. Our pillow is a 6-chamber, which is different than most. And if you're interested in finding out more, you can get my information from Big Daddy himself.
Yeah, I got it.
If you happen to be in the restaurant industry, I'm also working for a tech startup called City Cheers. We have an app that is a marketing / payment / cultural change impact. We can connect bars and restaurants to patrons where they live, work, play, love, and visit. And we make the safety, security, and the payment the easiest, fastest, safest way to pay. So check us out. Again, we're citycheers.com, and we are going to hopefully, like soccer, revolutionize or evolve the restaurant and bar space to what their future will look like. And I'm very excited about this because I love change, as I already told you. And I think change is hard, change is slow, but change is usually for progress. And progress in the industry, I think, is really needed right now. It's suffered during the pandemic. And so we want to bring more people more often in a safe way, in a way that's it's an Uber-esque platform. So it's an automated payment solution, as well as being a marketing platform. So anybody interested in bars and restaurants or you're in ownership and you want to revolutionize what you're doing, get a hold of me.
Hey, you heard it there from a champion. You better listen. She knows what winning's all about. So, and then, lastly, you got to bring your golf game next year to my golf outing. I want to see you beat some butts. I want to be able to brag and say, you guys are all haters because I brought in a ringer.
I'm up for that.
So, well, listen, Brandi, tell everybody where they can find you on social media.
Yeah, I'm on Instagram. I'm on Twitter, Brandi Chastain. I can honestly say you can teach old dogs new tricks. So I'm learning how to be more social on social media and share things that are important with me. But also I'm looking for collaboration. For me, the most significant thing I can do is connect people who want to do good things. And so if you're out there and you want to be a part of women's soccer, join Women in Soccer platform. Sign up and join us there. If you are in restaurants and bars, come on, join City Cheers and let's change the way the business is done. If you're looking for a good night's sleep, Mummy is your pillow. And if you want to watch the best soccer that the NWSL has to offer, come to the Bay Area. Come check it out.
Hey, everyone out there, you heard it here. So, Brandi, I want to say thank you so much for taking time to join me. And as my new friend, I will be following, paying attention, and doing whatever I can to help, because I'm a true believer in helping those that know how to help other people. So awesome. You got Big Daddy in your corner, and we'll do this again another time after you take over the earth. I'm sure I'll have you join us, and you can tell everybody that story, how you went to even greater heights than you already been. So congratulations on everything, and keep doing your thing. And until next time, we'll see you soon on Big Daddy and Friends.
All right. Thanks so much, Big Daddy. Everybody, peace.
All right. You got it. You heard it there. World champion, global champion, Brandi Chastain. Until next time, I'll see everybody real soon on Big Daddy and Friends.